Hey pros, Crystal here from Elite Haircare USA. So today we are doing a retouch relaxer as well as a haircut on my client here. She came in and basically says that she knows that she needs to get a reset. She needs to get her hair back in order. So we made up a plan, and that plan involved us cutting her hair a little bit shorter, removing a lot of those unmaintenance split ends, and also relaxing her new growth, as well as just getting her hair in order. I think I said that before, but I'm saying it again. Anyhow, so we're going to start the service, of course, by doing a retouch relaxer. Of course, you guys do not want the relaxer to touch your skin, so be very careful about that part. And I'm also using a spatula so that I don't run the risk of causing any form of aggravation or irritation to her scalp for her relaxer service. Now, even though you guys know I don't do a lot of chemical talk, I'm going to use this video as a teaching aid for those of you who like to relax your own hair at home. If it was up to me, I'm highly all for please go to a professional, get your relaxer and your chemical services done that way. If you don't have a choice, which some of us do not have that luxury, then this video is definitely for you. Now, before I get into any of that information, if you're new here, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to thumbs up this video. And I want you to comment down below and tell me if you are one who does your relaxers at home or if you go to a professional. And for those of you that are not relaxed, then just put natural in the comments, and these questions don't really apply to you. All right. So with relaxer, this is a common mistake that people make. Relaxers are only made to touch unprocessed hair only. So if you already have a relaxer and you're one of those people where every relaxer that you put on, you pull it all the way through from root to ends after you put it on, you're basically over processing hair that is already processed. So you don't want to run that risk of over processing your hair, and then later on you start noticing that you're shedding a lot. You start noticing that your porosity or your elasticity is very different. You start noticing that your hair is very dry or dehydrated, because these are all characteristics of over processed hair. So you want to make sure that you're targeting the new growth and the new growth only, which of course there will be a slight amount of overlapping. I'm not saying that we're all perfect and there's a way to eliminate this, because you could also run the risk of under processing and leaving a line of what we call demarcation between unprocessed hair and processed hair. If that happens, then this is the reason why you would come and book an appointment with me and say that you're going to get a corrective relaxer, because we need to correct the fact that you have unprocessed or underprocessed hair mixed with processed hair. And that's really what that service entails. We're going through and we're correcting a lot of the unprocessed hair issues so that everything is one even playing field and the hair is not confused, which usually, like I said, can cause breakage or shedding. Now, if you notice, when I put my relaxer on, I'm also making sure that I'm following a steady pattern. And by steady pattern, I mean that I'm starting in the resistant areas, which is usually the nape. Well, the nape is not necessarily very resistant, but I start at the back. Let me correct myself. I start at the back and then I work my way towards the front. The back does typically need a little more time to process, as well as the crown area. Those are difficult processing areas. The hairline processes the fastest. So if you know that your hairline is compromised in any way, shape, or form, the last area that I would put my relaxer is on the hairline, because that area is highly porous. It's going to relax really, really quickly. It's also the area that has shorter hair, so you don't want to run that risk of having it over processed or even balding or thinning in those areas as well. Another pro tip when you are doing your retouch relaxers, while I know that we all want to take it very, very slow, relaxer is not something that you want to be slow paced with. You want to be fast paced but thorough. The reason is that relaxer needs time to actually process. The slower you go, the longer you're going to give for processing time, and then you also run the risk of over processing. Or you run the risk of the scalp getting irritated in between the processing time, and now you have only processed one part of the head while you're still working with the other part of the head. So me as a stylist, I do not start relaxers and like to stop. If there's a situation where I have to stop for any reason, I try to make my stop no more than 10 seconds, run back, like if I have to open the door at the salon, or if I have to stop and get more relaxer, or my spatula fell, or something of that nature. But relaxer is definitely something that you don't want to play with when it comes on to speed and precision. Now that she's processed, I want you guys to take note that I did not put any relaxer on her ends. I never pulled it through to her ends, not once in this actual service. The processing was only for the under-processed or unprocessed hair. Unprocessed hair is also known as virgin hair, you guys. So it also can be known as virgin. Now, she also had a little bit of irritation towards the front of her head. Irritation can happen. There is no way that you are able to block out any form of irritation. You can use the world's best base. You can use the world's best protectant. But if there's any irritation, there's irritation. There's nothing you can do to stop that. Really, the only way to stop irritation is basically for your client to not scratch, tap, or touch their hair or scalp for about a week to 2 weeks. Another way, of course, is you can add base to the scalp, which for me as a stylist, I used to base my clients a lot. And then I started noticing that a lot of the bases are petroleum-made hair base, right? Or scalp base. Petroleum clogs the follicle. Petroleum also blocks or can slow the processing time of the relaxer. For me, I can put my relaxer on within minutes. So I stop using base unless I have a client who has a hairline that has molds, or they have a hairline that is compromised, or there's an area that they forgot that they were getting a relaxer and they really went in on that area. Those areas I will definitely base. Outside of that, you guys, I've kind of gotten away from the base because I know what the petroleum does. And it's kind of like a yin and a yang. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But I'm not saying don't base at all. I'm just saying use your discretion. If you're a stylist or you're a client and you like to use base, if you don't, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Base typically is not really sold with professional strength relaxers. It's sold with retail relaxers because you guys are a lot slower with your application. So that's definitely something that you'll see very common in the box relaxers. Now, I know you guys want to comment and ask, so what's the best relaxer to use? That's not a question that I'll be answering in this video. I do still have very much so respect for my craft. And I'm a firm believer that, like I said, relaxers are something that should be done by a professional. But if you have to do one at home, that is your choice, that you can use one of the retail kits to do so. Now, when you're rinsing out your relaxer, you do want to make sure that you are thorough. You do want to make sure that you don't leave any relaxer in the hair or on the scalp. Now, you guys see me using my fingers, of course, to help to get any relaxer out of the nape of the head or the occipital bone area in the crown, that kind of thing. But I'm not giving her a scratch of any sort. So you don't want to scratch at all. This is not the time to scratch. For those of you who are elite pros, I have another trivia question for you guys. I want you to comment down below and tell me what is the next step after rinsing a relaxer. What is the next step after rinsing a relaxer? And I'm talking the traditional relaxer steps. You guys comment down below and tell me your answer. Don't cheat. You should be commenting right now. Now, with this particular system, the next step is conditioning. But I'm asking for the next step if this was a traditional relaxer, not this kind of specialty relaxer that I'm using. So we'll see who knows, and we'll see who's an elite pro and who's been paying attention. This particular relaxer system that I use, it gives you the option to condition first. But a traditional relaxer gives you the option to do something else. So we'll see what you guys say. Anyhow, once she conditions, which normally, because I am not doing the next step right away, conditioning is no more than about a minute to 5 minutes because the cuticle is still wide open. We have not restored her hair back to its natural pH yet. So this is all a part of the process. This is not the time that my client will be scratching. This is not the time that I will be manipulating or aggravating her scalp at all, because as I said, her pH, or the natural pH of the hair, has not been restored yet. Okay, so I can give her a good rub. I can give her some fingertips, not fingertips, beds of my fingers, but that's really it. And the reason for me even rubbing her is so that I can make sure that that conditioner is getting into the hair, especially because that one is very gelatinous and sometimes it's very hard to get into the hair. Now that I have completed the conditioning phase, I'm going to go ahead and rinse her thoroughly. I know a lot of you are like, but wait, why didn't she go under the dryer with the conditioner? Or why didn't you leave the conditioner on longer? Remember, her cuticle and her pH is off and open. So the pH is thrown off and the cuticle is wide open. The reason why I like this particular system is because you're putting the conditioner in while the cuticle is wide open instead of waiting until you close it after normalizing and then you have to go back and open it with a hooded dryer. In this particular case, the cuticle is open, so I am conditioning and getting all of that conditioner in there. It is going to literally absorb within seconds to minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and close the cuticle shut by utilizing a normalizing or neutralizing shampoo, depending on the system that you use. A normalizer and a neutralizer to me are one and the same. They are not any different. They both do exactly the same thing. They are restoring the hair back to its natural pH. Okay? They are restoring the hair back to its natural pH. So now I'm doing the normalizing or neutralizing process. And then this is where we're going to give her a shampoo. Now, this shampoo does not just serve the purpose of making the hair feel clean. This shampoo is going to be what helps to restore the hair back to its natural pH. This shampoo is going to be what stops the relaxer process. So this is what a normalizer and neutralizer does. A lot of you get this confused thinking you can use any shampoo because you're only shampooing just to make sure that you get the relaxer out and clean your hair. When really that's not the purpose. The purpose is to restore the hair back to its natural pH by also stopping the relaxer processing at this very moment. So you're going to do more than one of these. You'll do sometimes one, or well, I'll say sometimes one. You'll do two, sometimes three, kind of depending on the density of the hair and also who is rinsing your hair. If you're in a shampoo bowl being rinsed by someone else, of course, you're going to have a better, you'll have more success. You'll have least worry in regards to leaving product in the hair, such as relaxer. Now, if you're doing this at home, you want to just make sure that you're thorough with your rinse because I know you're rinsing typically head down. Most times people are not washing out relaxer when they're showering unless you like relaxer all over your body. That's very weird. Okay? Now, in the meantime of us rinsing out her normalizer slash neutralizer, I want to remind you guys that if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also go ahead and click that thumbs up button to let YouTube know that my channel is a channel. It is giving life. And of course, turn on your post notifications, which is that little bell, so you guys know when I post new videos or shorts. I try to post videos and shorts every day or every other day, so you guys get used to it. All right, so as you guys can see, she's done the relaxer process. And she also got a haircut, which I did most of the cut off camera. I know you guys love the haircuts, but for this particular client today, we did it off camera because there were some other things that I needed to do as well. In regards to, we did her color, we did a color touch up for her roots using a semi-permanent color. Now, for anyone who's dealing with gray and you also are relaxed, I'd highly recommend using the Clairol Gray Solutions. I will actually have the link to my Amazon store in the description box where you're able to get the color that we use today, which is a semi-permanent color. Now, she also talked, we consulted about this bob, okay? So I know a lot of you are like, oh, why, Shelly, why is it always a bob? Okay, my clients come in with the concept of what they would like their hair to look like or what is needed. Typically, I don't try to make my clients go to shortcuts. I like to use bobs to give them a chance to grow out, which is a lot safer than me giving them a shortcut knowing that they will not be able to manage because they've never had short hair unless by choice, okay? So the bob cut was really the easiest way to get rid of all of those split ends. She had more split ends in the front than she did the back. So if that is the case, then of course the front itself, I try to leave as much length as I possibly can. But usually the front ends up having a little more layering, or if the length is just way too short based on the amount of split ends that they have, then we would just kind of work with the front and trim it down over time. Now, once we are done with her cut, I just went through with the blow dryer because some of her roots were just a little bit damp. And we're going to go ahead and style her. This blow dryer that I'm using, that's a Dyson, is also available inside my Amazon store. Now, I'm adding a little bit of our frizz control, which this is a frizz and split end serum. This is also going to serve as an added heat protectant that is going to help to protect her hair from the hot tools. Even though, you know, she's relaxed, her hair looks great, but you do still want to do your due diligence to protect the hair as well. And then, of course, for the tools today, we're going to be using our H2 Pro flat irons, and we'll come back and talk about all that stuff. I just got to kind of let you guys watch the process unfold of us curling her up and making her look even more beautiful than she already is. Now for the nape area, because of course this is a bob and her nape area is a lot shorter, which you guys couldn't really tell at the beginning of the video that the nape was actually very short, which is another reason why the bob worked really well. But for this area, I'm using the H2 Pro 7/10 of an inch black diamond iron. This is a professional style iron, you guys, that is available on our website, along with all of our other products at EliteHairCareUSA.com. And then the comb that I'm using, this comb is called a YS Park comb. It's actually one of my favorite combs. These combs are really made for a stylist. Like, they're professional style combs. I love them. I love them. This one is a carbon comb, so it's heat resistant. It doesn't melt with heat. And then, of course, they also have some that are not carbon friendly. But this one is my favorite comb. This red one, and then I also have a pink one with a metal tip. But it's time to buy some more because I had way more than this and lost a ton of them. Anyway, when we get to the longer areas, that's when I'm going to switch my iron. You guys know I use different irons for different things, for different looks. And then from here, we're actually going to use the 1-inch black diamond ceramic iron. The 1 inch is actually ideal for almost anyone, whether your hair be long or short. The 1 inch works really, really well. And then another reason why I like these irons is because they glide like butter on my client's hair. I have not had a complaint even before becoming a distributor. They glide like actual butter on the hair. Huge difference from a lot of these store-bought irons that are not Pro Tools. I prefer Pro Tools over retail tools any day. Now, as I'm curling her, I want you guys to take note of how glossy her hair looks. It looks very healthy to the naked eye, of course. You'd never know that she had an issue with split ends. You'd never know that her nape was having an issue at all. And then for her aftercare at home, she's actually going to do a Repair RX protein treatment on her next appointment. Or if she's not coming in for her in-between maintenance, she would do the protein treatment at home. As I said, using the Repair RX. Usually if you're relaxed, about 2 to 3 weeks after your relaxer, you will do a protein treatment to help rebuild and strengthen the bonds that were broken. And this is going to help to keep the hair nice and healthy, nice and strong. And then from here, her regular wash days, she can use either our B7 Beyond collection or even the Hair Repair and Restore collection, because they are both straighteners. They're both strengthening systems or collections. They also add a little bit of moisture to the hair. Now, she would be considered a high porosity client because she is chemically processed and the cuticle is open. So she would actually follow all of the techniques and recommendations from our high porosity video guide. So for those of you that may be relaxed like her, or you have a highly a chemical processing kind of service, definitely go and check out that video guide by going to our website at elitehaircareusa.com. That video guide is going to teach you all about high porosity hair, what it needs, the characteristics, and also a regimen that you're able to follow, and literally a roadmap for your hair care going forward. So you guys can check that out on my site. Now at night, she's definitely going to wrap her hair. When you wrap your hair, I do not recommend using a bonnet. A lot of you love that little bonnet thingy. Like, please stop. Just stop it. No bonnet here. If the hair actually needs to be secured, it needs to be kind of held down. With a bonnet, it's not being held down. You're allowing it to just mat itself around and move itself around. And the bonnets actually are full of bacteria. A lot of you don't know that. A lot of you don't even wash your bonnets when you wear them as much as you do. But I don't recommend a bonnet here. Here, I would recommend either a stocking cap, where if you perspire at night, it's going to help to keep the hair nice and flat and condensed. Or you can use a bandana, which is a full cotton bandana. Or you can use a Velcro wrap, which those don't necessarily stay on the head when you have bobs like her. My go-to would really be the stocking cap, because I feel that the stocking cap is going to keep the hair nice and condensed. So now that we are done with her styling service, by the way, I use the Vivace 1 1/4 inch ceramic iron to curl the crown of her head and the longer parts of her hair. And then we sprayed her with a little bit of Goddess polish to add some additional sheen, and also to tame any type of flyaways that might have been popping out as we were doing the curling. And then I just used a wide tooth comb just to give her a slight amount of feathering. She doesn't have a ton of layers, so this part can definitely be skipped. And then once she goes home, she's done. Like, this is it. This is a easy maintenance kind of style. Wrap your hair at night, comb it down during the day, do your wash day every 10 to 14 days, and you are good to go. Now, to finish off the bob, I like to have my client lean their head forward, and then I take my clippers and just really straighten out the edge so that you can see that actual bob cut. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For any other or to watch any of my other informational videos, or even to get on my channel, click my name down there right below this video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, share my channel with your friends and family so that they too can start learning how to better care for their hair the elite way. And I'll see everybody in my next video. If you're new here, watch until the end so that you can get a one-time coupon code for my newbies so you get a chance to try out Elite Hair Care products. I love you guys. Bye.